podcast. Okay, very good.
Gotta give it a sec till it pops up on the feed. Or Discord gives the ping.
I usually go off of my phone.
And we're missing
All
two
right,
today, right?
There it is on my phone.
Okay. Think I got the pop up. Oh, yep, there it is. All right, cool. And with that being said, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Briefing Room, 13th MU podcast, hosted by your lovely command staff. I'm Captain Hideyoshi, company commander and Apollo platoon leader.
I am Captain Dubs, the commanding officer of Tuma.
I am Senior Chief White, head corpsman and leader of Trauma Element.
I am Master Sergeant Ace, AEA.
I am Staff Sergeant Karsten, tonight's guest, and acting Apollo Platoon Sergeant.
All right. Well, with that being said, for those just now tuning in, we're sadly going to be missing out on Second Lieutenant Soccer and First Sergeant Cyber. Cyber is kind of in the middle of moving, and I do believe Soccer has to get ready for practice in the morning because, you know, he's a big football boy.
Oh, yeah.
You got?
I was saying, yeah, Soccer's got his college football summer camp going on.
Yeah, he's a liberal.
Very
yeah.
He'll have to get up at 3 a.m. He's fine.
Yeah, for real. It's not like he does like 2 hours of practice or anything. Freaking monkey. What a monkey, dude. But
oh boy.
I guess with that, I'm gonna just immediately swing it over to Dubs here and
Well,
some
how about
general
we
feedback.
Well, you could swing it over to Karsten first.
Whoa, put him on the spot. Let him know.
Well, that's helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's
All
not
right,
helpful at all.
Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you very much, White.
Yeah,
well,
Dubs,
I've
you
been
need to
here
help
in the
us.
unit for like a year and a half. Just started out the PSG, basically the acting platoon lead, because Cap's up there running the whole unit. I've been playing Arma for, I think, like 6 or 7 years now.
Been a minute.
Any previous Arma units you've been in, or is that 13th like the first one?
I started with the 18th MEU, which was an Optre unit. That was my start in the Milsim community, and that was the most professional unit I'd been in up until this point, at which point we've thoroughly overshadowed that, which is impressive.
Yeah.
In between then, I kind of just hopped around a bunch of different units and watched the standard life cycle of units that can't keep their crap together.
What would you say, what are the general comparisons you would make between the 13th and the unit you were in previously?
The big one was just admin. Having an effective chain of command was also another big one. Yeah. Really, those are the two big comparisons, and I think the cornerstone of the unit that's there and is going to last.
Okay. Dubs, ask more questions. You're breaking my bones here.
Haha! Sorry, I'm out in Discord's posting the link. So not a lot of people actually know this, but I met Karsten. I've been friends with Karsten since before the 13th. Him and I were in the same squad unit together back in the day. I say back in the day, it was like 2 years ago, but so I've known Karsten for a little bit. So I think actually I was the Karsten. Did I bring you over here, or did you happen to join over here by chance?
You want to know the best part about what you just said?
Uh,
It's just completely untrue. I joined the AEF after I was here.
no, I thought, or did you?
Yeah. You might be thinking of not Omeo.
Oh, I know who I'm thinking of.
Becky.
No.
Oberg.
Oberg.
Yeah.
That's right. I could have swore. Oh
'cause
no, I know.
I came with Weaver and Anner. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. I got my people mixed up. I thought you were in the squad unit first.
No.
That's right. Because I remember doing your onboarding in the squad unit, and I recognized your, like your actual Discord name, not
Oh yeah.
not as Karsten. And I saw it, and I was like, wait a minute. Where have I seen this before? This is familiar. And I just happened to look at our the 13th Discord and looked at your Discord name. I was like, huh, that's where I've seen it before. And I just remember doing your onboarding thing. I was like, hey, do you play Arma? Yeah? You in a Milsim group called the 13th MU? Yeah? Me too!
Yeah, it was actually Riptide that brought me over there because I had been looking at playing squad in my off time and I wanted a uniformed group of people to do it with.
That's a game. There's a game that kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Last I heard, a lot of the squad communities were having issues with the fact that OWI
Switched over to
over to
Battle.net, but
well, they switched off of
Epic Game servers, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
they switched their servers over to Epic Online Services, and everyone was like, no, that's awful. And a lot of server owners, the owner of the squad unit we were in included, basically turned off and stopped paying for their servers and said take away the license because we're not doing this.
Yeah. Because I think a bunch of the settings you just couldn't change anymore, and then they were just broken and you couldn't do things.
Yeah. I mean, when the game worked, squad was pretty decent. I'll give them that. But I digress.
It seems like maybe our music isn't volumed correctly.
Isn't volumed correctly.
Is
I
it
don't
just
know
too
what the
quiet
fuck-
or too loud?
It's a little too quiet.
Yeah.
Let me inch it up a little bit.
It gets
At least I
perfectly
assume
fine.
that's what music check means.
Yeah.
I
Just
think any
making
louder would start drowning us out.
Yeah, just making sure that it's that you can hear it without overtaking us, basically.
I'll be honest, not my kind of music at all, so I'm not a fan of it, but that's just personal. But yeah, continuing on from there to keep it all flowing, because this is honestly a really kind of slow start for whatever reason. Carson, what has it been like for you as the PSG, just being the unit's PSG? Like, we haven't had one in a couple months, and the previous one, you know, he did an all right job, but due to life circumstances, he had to step away. So what was that like for, I guess this is like a multi-stage question. What was your reasoning for coming back, making the choice to go PSG, and how has it been for you becoming the PSG? Like the feeling or the execution of it all?
Really, I've kind of been looking at the role basically once like I hit the point that I was confident you guys didn't suck after I joined, and I joined with a couple of my friends and they were frankly whiny about a lot of things, and after they decided to leave, once I made the decision that I would rather stick around here than spend time with them, basically that was the point where I wanted to be leadership in some form or fashion, because that's kind of the part of Arma I enjoy. I enjoy the whole rigmarole of leadership, the balancing of all the different stuff, and for a while I've been considering the platoon lead position, and up until recently it just didn't really make sense with the schedule and the rest of my life, but I got the opportunity and things just kind of settled out in a way that made it feasible for me to do it while we didn't have one. And I got tired of not doing something that felt like I was putting all the effort I could into it, or that mattered that much. And so this is a good opportunity to do one of those things. So that's really why I went after it when I got back.
Okay, and what was that? And I guess so far, what has it been like overall? What have you enjoyed? What have you disliked? Or what have you learned from, I guess, fully dedicating to it now?
It's been pretty solid. I've been in a similar position in a couple of other units, and so a lot of that's not entirely new to me. The paperwork side of it, it's nice to be able to see the top level of it all, because when someone asks you to do a lot of the paperwork we have, when you don't see the purpose behind it on a couple of the higher levels, like for example the AARs, when you're writing them as a squad leader, the amount of stuff you actually get out of it is not that high, just because you were there and you made most of the decisions and you were kind of just rolling with it. Whereas when you're looking at the big picture, you learn more from writing the AAR than you do from actually doing the operation, as you can like look back and review all the decisions that were made and where things went wrong. And so I think that's just like a really good example of a lot of the paperwork is you just don't see most of the purpose behind it, and so that's been a good part of that. Working with all the guys involved, it's been fun to work with Yogi. Our S6 guys get after it. I've been spending a little too much time with them though. It starts to make me angry when people use the word repeat in a sentence in real life. Like, I can just feel my blood pressure go up a little bit, you know?
Wait, Karsten, can you repeat that?
All right,
That
well,
bit white.
Well.
I'm coming to your... I'm letting Yogi bomb you.
Well, I guess we need a new trauma actual.
J-Dam out.
Joke's on you, Dubs. I'm not even trying my actual.
Oh, well. New head corpsman.
Yeah, I'm Apollo 4.
Gatekeeper.
Keeper is trauma actual.
Oh, well. She doesn't know you exist, so.
Oh,
Right?
damn. Yeah, that's real. Hashtag real.
I
How
still
have
say I
you-
should have pulled out my gun for that picture.
Karsten, have you been like? Because I think when you came back, did we finish? No, you came back. We still had what, a couple ops left in Takistan, right? You came back right at the end of it, right?
Yeah, it was like the last two
Yeah,
ops,
pretty
wasn't
much.
it?
I think I made like 1 or 2 ops at the end of that, but I don't think I actually ended up being in the platoon circuit, like the Apollo actual role, until we got to Wake.
Gotcha. How has I guess from your
Hey, I'm in the middle of a podcast.
from your point of view, what
Alright,
how has your ground guys been handling with the transition from like essentially a disorganized military or militia force to a near peer force?
Honestly, it's been rather impressive after that initial smackdown on Wake Island, like you guys have talked about a couple times on here. They really got their crap together, and the shift has been fun to watch. The biggest of which was this last stop. You guys probably saw it, but the employment of smoke has just really been one of the big and obvious changes because we just didn't use it that much before because it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I remember I saw some clips where it was like, I think you guys were like just smoking the water right in front of you.
Oh yeah,
And
which
then
is
obviously, like,
medium
on
effective
mainland,
at best, but yeah. When they've got those entrenched machine gun positions, that's really the only thing you can do because you're not going to be slipping rounds into some of those bunkers.
Those
Yeah.
crevices on those bunker positions are like absolutely insane. The angle that they have.
Yeah, I
Because when you
saw.
see it, you're like, holy shit.
Like, I was doing some review stuff with Yogi the other day, and just looking at his point of view stuff and seeing the slit and like just the extreme angles that they have. I'm like, how? How? It's I mean, being up in the air, I don't think about that kind of stuff. But how you guys combat that? Just different style of bunker that they're using.
Right? You pop smoke and get in behind it is basically the only way to deal with them. Unless you're using smoke rounds, you can't get around in there. I don't know how, but like 3 times throughout that op, I managed to just put a red smoke in the front window of one of those bunkers, but I couldn't do it with HE or rifle rounds.
Just like a lucky toss.
Apparently.
Oh man,
Just
those
cracked out of my
trenches-
mind with red smoke, I guess.
Red smoke only.
It's insane to think how absolutely devastating those trench lines are. Like yeah, tactic from World War One and World War Two. They're still effective modern day, and a bitch.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter.
The only thing that's changed is the style of the bunker.
Right. And even
Much.
not that much there. Like, I don't know how much we want to go into it, but certain events in real life right now, if you've watched any videos coming out of that, the trenches then are not that different
Mm-hmm.
than the ones back then. The only thing that's really changed is the crap they're carrying, because you got your same scared man versus other scared man, and a trench dug in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that whole topic is. It's always weird stuff to talk about or hear about when it comes to the war going on right now, because it's like in relation to the unit, because for those watching who don't know, the unit has a lot of like rules and regulations and policies in place that try to keep things, ARMA related and not really. We don't try to bring it full circle back to the real world. I mean, for the sole reason of you're here to play a video game, you're not here to talk politics. That's the hope, at least. Some people, you just can't help yourselves, then we just, do that little nudge reminder, like, hey, take it anywhere else but here.
Reel it in, come on.
Yep, get the fuck out of here. But
I mean, I just read something earlier that which, I mean, reading it, it's nothing new. It's just the area that it's in. But Al Assad Air Base in Iraq got hit by rockets today. That's just where Al Assad is. It's just always been that way. It never really died down or
it's not
completely
even a surprise
stopped
anymore.
No, it's just slowed down in frequency, but nothing. Well, I can't say nothing that's going on over there, but it's a common occurrence for that air base.
Yeah.
But just factoring in all the other stuff over there. But yeah.
I mean, I guess that's where it all kind of circles. It does a full circle again of you got to find that in between of Milsim and
Real world.
real world versus military. Because like while we try to keep it semi-realistic, there's always that like video game element to it of, hey, like I know we're fighting the PLA, but we're not actually fighting the real PLA. So like, don't look at it that way because that's just weird. The video game, it's a fictional universe, fictional time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some people have a really hard time disassociating the differences between them all, and that
Like-
just comes to the individual.
As we've covered a couple times here, it bothered me because I knew it was on the tip of a couple of you guys' tongues going back over the last couple episodes, but when talking about the difference between, or like the application of real world stuff to the game, is people want there to be a one-to-one correlation, and it's really just like the principles correlate, but not the tactics those principles, or I guess, yeah. The tactics those principles foster don't correlate one-to-one, but the principles they're based on are still
No.
effective.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, it's just people just can't disassociate between a video game or, reality, which is like shitty, and it sucks because then you got to get on people about stuff like that, and you got to reel them in. And there's just people who genuinely, I don't know, they just don't understand. Like they're like, why? But it is what it is. I guess from continuing from there, Carson, what have you seen personally that you would like to see overall improvement on? Whether that's in Tuma, in Command, in the platoon, what are you looking at currently?
Right now, I think the big thing that I personally am trying to improve on, like, or get the platoon as a whole to work on and improve, is just decentralized command. This is an optimal time. Not right now, but check out the Jocko podcast. That is my second favorite podcast behind the 13th MEU. So check that out. Some great leadership advice in there. Yeah.
I'm gonna agree.
That's why I only kind of suck sometimes.
Oh.
Oh, shut up, Ace. Oh no. Oh jeez. That's not a bad podcast at all,
no.
with Jocko.
Right. The production quality on it is very solid. His voice is great for reading the books he reads.
What are you trying to say?
Who's Jocko?
Hey, shut the fuck up.
I mean, I will say kind of cringe because your standard Navy SEAL writes a book and is then popular, but
Oh.
And speaking on that, just a little bit, it's kind of funny hearing some of the beef sometimes between like SEALs, just the Special Forces community in the U.S. because like, fucking, I can't remember. It was like it was a funny but fucked up nickname for the SEALs, but it was like Diary Warriors or something, and it was a comment. It was a comment from an unnamed Delta Force member because like, you don't hear anything about Delta because that's just not their MO. You don't hear shit about Delta,
Yeah.
I think, I never believed in the whole aspect of like SEALs are better than this. SEAL, MARSOC's better than this. Delta's better than this. It's like they all exist because they're completely different, like roles. They all serve to do different shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
people like to
it's-
do those comparisons, and it's weird.
It's just that interbranch rivalry.
Yeah.
And it's just SEALs have the reputation of being the best special forces just because they get all the
they get all the attention. They're the only one that get their cool things publicized.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, there's
So-
no real difference other than like an army grunt and a marine grunt going at it. I feel it's just cooler.
I dare you
Yeah.
to say that again. Guarantee someone will string you up.
Somebody.
Anderson in the chat says SEALs after they get out books, podcasts, high speed fitness, and weapons instructor. Real,
Okay,
dude.
so-
I
So
mean,
he-
granted, those are really the only options after you get out of the SEALs. Although he did add a new one. He does business leadership schools. That's his thing.
Sure.
It's not too bad.
Right?
It's
Like,
not
and I
that
mean,
bad.
fair enough.
mean,
like, if you've been
He was
leading
an
in a
officer,
combat
right?
situation for 20 plus years, I will say you probably have the experience to tell someone how to not be an idiot in a boardroom.
Well, he
I
also
hope
went to college. He was an officer, wasn't he? So he went to college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Then you got
take business
motherfuckers
class.
like David Goggins, bro. Absolute monsters. Like,
Very hard.
I can't lie, dude. Whenever I go to the gym, I love putting on like some of his old repeats or podcasts. You know how moto some of that shit is?
Right?
Like you're ever sitting there on the bench and you feel like, man, I really don't want to do it. Like,
I want to get another rep, you
you
know?
want to be a bitch? Come on, you scared coward. Like, damn, all right. Like, tell me how you really feel, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely the TED
Yeah,
Talks.
Lemon
TED says you're
TED
welcome.
Talks and Lemon says TED Talks and then leadership conferences. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so like, with my combat history and stuff like that, I've worked with SEALs on some missions, and I've also worked with other branches, special forces and stuff like that. I will say this: SEALs are the most proud and full of themselves people, but it's well deserved.
I was gonna say probably rightfully so.
I've seen the difference between Ranger units and other special forces and SEALs are just so much. They're so different than everybody else
When I
and
was
more efficient.
when I was in
They write those books so they get the budget, so they get those reps in.
when I was in, I was friends with two were they two Air Force combat controllers, CCTs. They were some pretty humble dudes too. Like they originally were in training for I think it was PJ's pararescue. And
Oh, damn.
they ended up washing out, but they were doing so well. Like, I don't remember the specifics of it. They washed out for something dumb, but they got recommendation from their cadre there, and they pretty much almost immediately got picked up to go back into selection for combat controllers. So they were still Air Force spec ops. They just had to wait for the CCT stuff to open up. So they were in Arizona with me for a little bit. And then
I know what
If there was anything I could do, that would definitely be it. Just because
I'm a PJ, man.
I really enjoy the schools and stuff and the learning aspect, and those guys get one of the highest budgets in the special operations community for training because they need to do their job as well as whatever job of the person's slot they're filling.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what a PJ is, right? You know, the pole rescue and stuff like that. But what is a combat controller? I've never heard of them.
So basically they're just your standard JTAC, except for they're also capable of doing. They're like capable of fully running an airfield out of a backpack,
Yeah. So
like an air traffic control tower,
Yeah.
except for it's a backpack.
think of what Yogi does, but like a full-on air traffic controller.
Oh.
So like here from the Air Force's website, some of the military's most difficult missions are carried out by combat controllers who operate in remote, often hostile areas, acting as a one-man attachment to other special forces teams. These highly specialized airmen are trained in a wide range of skills, including scuba, parachute, and snowmobiling, as well as being FAA certified air traffic controllers in order to establish air control and provide combat support missions.
Like a couple of their
So
big
Yogi's wet
mission
dream.
sets are like what's the movie 13 or whatever about the guys that were the
13
first people
hours?
on no about
Wasn't
the
it
guys
just
who were the first
13?
I think so. They're like the first into Iraq and Afghanistan.
No, here's a better one. You ever watch the Transformers movies?
Oh yeah, the guy with the red beret?
The guy with the red beret, he's a combat controller.
Ah, okay.
Hmm.
But
Alright,
yeah,
so
they set up airfields in hostile environments, like the first guys in Iraq. Or they'll like go into disaster relief zones and set those up. Their
I
motto's
got
the
what you're
first
saying
there.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here's a little fun fact for you guys. So when I was in high school, I qualified for state all 4 years in school. All right, for swimming.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in basic training, I got invited to do their quote unquote SEAL training to get you ready for buds.
Damn.
I failed their swim portion.
So you failed the bud swim portion, but like passed with flying colors in just like the Navy swim test.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So my events were the front stroke, not front stroke, but freestyle and backstroke. That's what I was really, really good at. They failed me because my splashes were a little too big.
That's
Freestyle.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
like
That makes sense though.
I mean,
Like,
I guess
they-
yeah, but damn.
they wanted us to do the breaststroke. And I'm not bad at breaststroke,
but you were
but
just always good at freestyle.
and backstroke, yes,
Yeah.
because I've got long ass arms,
Mm.
and it's like for their test, you had to swim 1.5 miles as fast as you could. All right,
God damn.
not a big deal. Because, like I said, swim practice, I would swim 6 miles a day during swim practice.
I'd rather run 5 than swim 1.5 miles. Fuck that.
And they didn't care what stroke you did, as long as you did it as fast as you could. When I got done, they said that was the fastest somebody swam for their course, but I still failed.
Did
I was like, what the fuck?
a little too much splashy.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is so dumb because I feel like you can just go, yeah, maybe splash less next time,
Like,
and
so
then problem solved.
But I think in that scenario, it's like you're one shot basically.
Right.
No, because I was still in basic. So what they
Oh.
did was, people who wanted to, they could join the program, get up before everybody else was, work out with the SEALs, and then go back to their,
Go back to your regular training.
go back to your division before. Like I would get up every day at 0400, be at the pool by 4:15, and I would be back to my unit by 0530.
Shit.
And I would be exhausted by the time I got back every fucking day.
That's wild. So I guess in that case, like, what would have happened if you were to pass? Would they have offered you buds?
So to qualify, that's just to qualify for the class.
Oh, okay.
So they, as long as you swam quickly and you did the push-ups and the required sit-ups and all that stuff,
Mhm.
you were able to join.
Man, imagine polling for members of that actively in basic training.
Like, and they straight up said they wanted me to join because I scored a 99 on the ASVAB and was going FMF corpsman.
Mm.
And I did the training and everything because I was young. It's like, fuck this. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. That training, even though it was only an hour and a half, was so much more intense than anything I ever did. I was like, every day I was sore. The entire day. And like, it was the best workout I ever did. But after I got out of my C school and all that, they were like, all right, now do you want to sign up for buds or do you want to do
Continue
couple
on with
tours.
what you were doing.
like yeah? So it's like you know what, I'm gonna go corpsman. Just let me do this for a little bit, get used to it, get my head on straight, and figure everything out. And I just never fucking filled out the application for buds because I just got so busy with all the other shit. It was like, you know what, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I don't need to.
Makes sense. I just had one of my buddies sign up. Sorry.
And I've done ops and stuff with SEALs, just because like they SEAL units, if like SEAL units, everybody's corpsman trained, all that stuff. It's just that they always want another corpsman around just in case something happens.
They want a dedicated medic. Yeah.
Yes.
Dedicated corpsman, you monkey.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Stupid army
But,
boy.
I don't need to be technical in this is
like,
podcast.
There's
I would-
nothing technical. They're not the same.
So every SEAL unit, when they do an op, they always have a Marine unit on standby in case something goes sideways. So I was usually with the Marine unit waiting for shit to go sideways. So that's where a lot of my combat experience came from, was doing shit like that. Every once in a while, Andy. But
What did he ask?
If they run
dude-
Sarks.
yeah, sometimes they do. It just depends on mission parameters.
Did you ever consider going that route?
No.
Well, isn't that what he would have done if he was to have done buds via Sark? I guess.
I would have been, but I would have to go through medical school to do that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you have to actually be a doctor, like 8 year and all
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
That's
like a
crazy.
no shit
Yeah.
doctor.
I can't imagine. That's a lot of dedication because you're talking about going through 8 years of being a doctor and then going and be in the military, go through buds. Like it's a lot.
It's big for
But-
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of times the Sarks will stay back with the Marine unit just because they're so valuable. But it's usually a Sark can get to the SEAL unit within 5 minutes if shit goes sideways.
I wish
It's-
fucking. Oh Jesus! I wish Marsoc would make up their mind about their goddamn name.
Right?
Raiders, scouts.
I wish they'd decide which one they're
Or
gonna not do
recon.
anymore, because they keep like threatening to wind down one of them.
They
Yeah,
keep going back and forth. I think they've like either contemplated it or changed it like 4 or 5 times in the past like 2 decades.
Yeah, because like, wasn't originally like Raiders and then Recon, and then I don't know when the switch happened, but then they just become, or they got rid of Recon and kept Raiders, and then now they just became Marsoc, right? I think that's how it is, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did you ever work with Marsoc? What?
I think I have a few times. Dude, like there were so many missions I was part of because we were active war.
Mhm.
It, I believe it was. It was just weird because like I would be part of like 2 task force. One would be Marsoc, one would be another thing, at the same time. So it's just like
Oh yeah.
working together.
Mhm.
It's weird because like we were always short on corpsmen. Like when I was in, there was a little shortage of corpsmen. So I was usually pulling double duty a lot.
Hmm.
So it
I actually
was like,
know the guy who helped write the Raider SOPs.
That's
And
what
then, like,
That was cool.
I will say the SEALs training and buds and stuff like that is really intense. Because like I was stationed, my home port was San Diego, and when they would do Hell Week and stuff, they would always have corpsmen from other bases and stuff come and supervise Hell Week. Just because of all the injuries and all that stuff that happens. Like, it was like we would go there and we would stay up for days watching them supervise and shit. It was nuts. And that was like one of the main reasons why I decided not to do it, because I just seen how Hell Week was. I'm like, yeah, fuck this.
I remember, like the show was called Buds, right? Was it? Remember like the whole SEAL training show or whatever they used to run?
I think I know what show you're talking about. Was it the one where they went through all of the military special forces groups?
No, I think it was just Navy SEALs, and it was Buds. I think it was just Buds.
So I remember the show. I remember
Yeah.
watching a couple episodes and then laughing at it because the shit that they showed on that was not true.
Was it like easier or harder?
It was a lot easier.
A lot
Well,
easier.
imagine they can't show the
they
hard
made the
stuff.
they made the show a lot easier, or it was a lot easier in real life.
The show was a lot easier.
Oh,
Like they,
okay. They portrayed it easier
Yeah.
than it actually is. Yeah.
yeah, and I just like laughed. I was like, yeah. This,
I
this
remember
show is
because I
stupid.
remember watching a show back in the day. Oh God, it was on the Discovery Channel. What was it called? Making the Cut, where they like went through all of the different militaries, special forces groups, and like what they do and what their training was like and all that. I remember being in high school, just watching that, being like moto as fuck. Like, oh fuck yeah, dude, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I remember watching that too.
And then I joined the Air Force and worked on fighters.
Oh, so another fun fact. If you guys watched the documentary Carrier, it was a PBS documentary.
Hmm.
I'm actually in that. Yeah. Very
It's
cool.
in a movie.
All right, we're gonna have to have a unit movie night.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's like 12 episodes, and it's about life on an aircraft carrier.
that's pretty sweet.
It was
2008? Dude, you're old.
Yeah.
Yikes.
2008.
So-
I was a junior in high school.
I don't think I was in middle school yet.
Ew,
I was like 2.
you're
I
disgusting.
was, at that point, I was in the military for 4 years. At that point,
Oh.
Dang.
And Jobber's still older. What the fuck?
Jawbrew
Was
and
that still when
tasty.
you were doing corpsman stuff?
was that Karsten?
Was that still while you were doing corpsman stuff, or did you gone to cooking by that point?
I was still doing corpsman stuff.
Very good. Not the Corbin stuff.
It's
And-
funny. It's funny that you
Like-
bring up the PBS show, because so you know how like Hollywood, they'll use a lot of military bases to like film movies and shows and shit.
Yeah.
There was, when I was stationed in Arizona, I was stationed at Luke. They came out and filmed. Which Transformers movie was it?
The second one?
I think it was the second Transformers movie that had Mark Wahlberg in it.
No.
No, 'cause
That was like the
that's too new.
fourth. That's
Yeah.
that was Extinction or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
That was
no,
like
I'm saying-
5 years ago.
No, I'm saying the second Transformers movie that had Mark Wahlberg in it, not Shia LaBeouf.
okay.
Not Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Isn't that like? I thought that one was like 5 years ago though.
I think it what? Wait, they made a second one of him?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
I mean, I probably saw
that's
it, but
the
I don't
one?
remember.
Okay,
It was the last
Transformers
night.
movie.
The last night.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the one where they had 6 rotored ospreys.
yeah.
yeah.
So-
They came out and filmed a portion of that movie at the base that I was stationed at, and it was actually pretty sweet because they've had like the I don't remember. I'd have to watch it again to point out the scene or scenes that were filmed there, but they had like the helicopter that had the movie camera on it. Let me tell you what, like, helicopter pilots are ballsy, and then there's the helicopter pilots that fly the helicopters that are being used to film movies. Like, we were watching them fly around, and they were getting, like, I want to say within inches, like mere inches of hitting, like, our aircraft overhangs, like whipping these helicopters around. And I actually got to meet and greet with Joshua Duhamel and Michael Bay. And then
Make this movie less bad than the last one, please.
I also
Did he throw explosions in your face?
a little bit. I shook his hands and all I could smell the gunpowder.
So, speaking of movies, the military and stuff, Dubs, you remember the movie Stealth?
Yeah,
I'm in that movie as well.
I'm in that Transformers movie.
Yeah, so like the funeral scene that's in Stealth,
The funeral
that's on the
scene,
aircraft carrier.
The funeral scene in Stealth. Oh yeah.
When they got all the personnel, yeah, that was every one of those people are military. Like they put out a casting call for military through the USO on base, and we did that scene on the USS Nimitz.
That's wild.
Dude, Anderson was like picked for MARSOC or Raiders. What a liberal.
No, I think he was talking about the gunny that he was talking about. The gunny he knew got picked for MARSOC.
Oh, did wild shit when back to being avionics. Yeah, imagine going from like just being quote unquote regular dude in the Marine Corps and then like being a raider for a little bit and then just being a normal dude again.
Like, all right, your 3 years are up. You're going back to your regular job. Motherfucker, I don't even remember how to do it.
I don't care. Watch your Google.
Gotta go back
Somebody
to you go through tech school for your regular job, get picked for MARSOC, go and do that for a few years, and then you're like, all right, back to your regular job. Send your ass back to tech school just so you can remember what to do.
Yeah, cause like,
Imagine being a normal guy and you work for that guy, though. Like, your gunny in avionics is that guy. You, like, screw something up and he just walks up to you, points at his combat patch, and goes, yeah, that's right, go shiver your own timbers and come back to me when you've thought about what you've done. Like,
Consider my timbers shivered.
I feel like dudes like that wouldn't even talk about it though, cause like,
probably not. He probably wouldn't need to point it out. He'd still just walk up to people and go, shiver your own timbers. But I don't even need to yell at you.
know.
Do it for me.
probably
He just
need to
walks up,
would
looks at
just
you.
speak
Yes,
to
Gunny,
people,
I'll go do
that'd be it.
push-ups until you're tired. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't have to say a word.
Stop yelling at me with that tone
What
of
is
face.
the separation between the special ops community? It's like SEALs do like foreign interdiction, like interdiction like hits and shit like that, whereas MARSOC primarily works in or around the United States for the most part, deals with drug trafficking, hostage handling, and things of that nature. I could be totally intermixing them out because I feel like they all do the same thing, but they focus
in different areas.
in different
You know,
areas.
like
Yeah.
SEALs do like more quote unquote black ops.
The shit you don't hear about.
They do the dark
Yeah.
gray ops.
Yeah.
Like, they're black ops until 10 years from now, at which point I can put them in my book. And then you've got the
I was
Delta
about-
Force that they're just always.
I was about to say like SEALs, Gray Ops, Delta Force. Now that's Black Ops. Like,
Yeah.
how many Delta
So-
Force books are there?
None.
There is
Yeah.
there is one.
Maybe I was gonna say like one.
Yeah, it's but SEALs they do more of the high profile shit that will be made not common knowledge within a few years. Because the
There's
US
also
wants
the-
to take credit
The
for
only
shit.
exception to that was SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, there is the distinction there, is you have, because the SEALs are both a tier 2 and a tier 1 unit, like,
Yeah.
so you have very different things, like Rangers,
Marsock's
tier 2 Rangers and SEALs, right, I guess Rangers and tier 2 SEALs are very similar and run some very similar stuff.
Green Berets have always been confusing to me. From what I understand, and I could be totally wrong, like basically like when we had the war on terrorism on that, didn't they just like kind of train up the local populace or whatever to fight against the terrorists? Wasn't that kind of their main thing?
I think
Yeah,
their
they
MO has
focused
been since
Working
the
with other
beginning.
people.
Yeah, their whole MO is like they embed into the country. Like they
Yeah.
go in for
Yeah.
like
Years,
years
on
at
end.
a time and literally learn how the country operates and works, and either facilitate guerrilla like warfare or tactics, conduct espionage or sabotage operations,
Yeah.
or incite rebellion. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
that's what.
fucking
Yeah,
grandfather
Green
was
Berets
a,
are like the behind the scenes people.
yeah, my
Yeah.
grandfather was a Green Beret during Vietnam, and he's told me some crazy fucked up
Yeah,
shit.
those are
that
some
they
weren't
used
Green
to
Beret
do.
SOG? Wasn't Green Beret SOG, or was that a whole different thing?
They were,
They were part
pretty
of it.
similar, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were part of SOG. My grandfather told me that they had in Vietnam when they had landed one time. This I'm just gonna say one story because it was just the first thing that popped in my head and it was so fucked up. They had a pet anaconda they found in the jungle,
Oh my god.
and they kept it as a baby, and it kept growing, but they still kept taking it with them to like ops. It's like, what the fuck? And of course, his name was Reggie, but his full name was like Reginald. Like, it was something stupid. It was like Reginald Bartholomew or some shit. It was so super long shit.
What?
And apparently, the snacks they were feeding Reggie weren't working anymore. So they started catching live monkeys and throwing the monkeys in the cage. And the entertainment would be watching Reggie fuck up a monkey in a cage and like
What?
slowly crush it. And I was like, what the fuck? Grandpa.
Bro, I thought you were
wrong
gonna
with
say they
you?
started feeding it people.
No, they,
I was waiting for that one too.
I mean,
Sorry, I'm
with-
back. I had a
with
phone call.
with some of the crazy shit that my grandfather told me, I wouldn't be like super surprised. Like, yeah, we cut off this VC's hand and threw it in the cage. I don't know, man.
I
there
I
was
feel like
some
that's got to
crazy
be an
shit.
effective interrogation tactic. You feed it a monkey and make the guy watch. Like,
That's gonna be you. Like,
yeah. Hey, Farms Boulder. Yeah, the bombs are over there. Go blow them up. Like,
dude. And it, you know, obviously on the same side, he's told me some like actually like horrid stuff. Because I mean, he's my grandpa. He's not gonna tell me everything, but
Yeah.
like he would get these really bad night terrors, where like he woke up and didn't realize he was home, kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and my grandma, she told me like, yeah, these were true. Like he would literally wake up after getting home, and he would walk around the house for like 6 hours with his M14, just like perimeter patrol or some shit, and the cops would have to like come and talk to him and be like, hey, like you're home, like, you know, blah blah blah. He was like in it was like an elevated like sleep state. It was weird. And he dealt with like a lot of civilian deaths, like being over there. My grandpa did one tour in Vietnam in the army. He then went into the Marine Corps and did another tour. Like he went army, switched over, went Marine Corps, and he's like, "It's too easy." And then he went from Marine Corps back to the army and became a Green Beret. And then he did 3 more tours as a Green Beret.
Jesus
was-
Christ.
Fucking insane. Like he had so many chances to get out.
Jeez.
Yeah. So many tours to get out, dude. And like he had been in a helicopter crash where his buddy lost his arm to the rotary blade. Like
Oh wow.
I was like, what the fuck, Grandpa? Like, he doesn't like being He doesn't like being near bases anymore because the helicopters set him into like mild PTSD. Just because like he was like, oh, what did he say? He said he was probably in over the 8 years that he was in the military. He was most likely in a helicopter more than he ever was in a car for like the first 26 years of his life, because that's how much like he was in a helo for, like between transportation and movement. I was like, that's fucking crazy.
I mean, that's the only way they could get around
I
in
was
the
gonna say,
jungle.
I mean, that was like the primary method of travel, no?
What I hear you saying, Cass, is like me and your grandfather would have gotten along really well, because like when I was in, I was always volunteering to go back over and to do stupid shit.
Oh, dude,
Just-
I'm sure. I'm
like-
sure you would have enjoyed Mr. Nigel the Monkey Crusher or whatever the fuck, but
Nice.
Reginald. Fuck, dude.
We need a mod. We
Yeah.
definitely need Nigel.
Yeah, we
the
need one of
Monkey
those, the
Crusher as
13th.
part of the
Yeah.
unit.
We need one of those.
like we like camel spiders. Oh my
Dude,
fucking
oh
god!
my god.
We-
Fucking
we
camel
kept-
spiders, bro.
Like it was to the point like where every tent pretty much had a camel spider pet, and we'd have fights with them.
Yeah, when
Oh.
I was over in UAE, we caught a camel spider, and then we would go out and catch scorpions and make them fight each other, and place bets on
yeah.
who would win.
Yep.
So dumb.
Bruh, that's like straight out of a scene of Jarhead. They had
the-
that in there.
There. I kid you not. There was a camel spider that we found. We got into the Humvee, and that fucking thing was wrapped around the steering wheel.
Fuck that, dude.
That's how big that fucker was.
Dude, like
Y'all can keep the Humvee. It's yours.
dude, like, no joke. We would see camel spiders over in UAE, like the size of like literal like NFL footballs. They were
Yeah.
fucking massive, dude. Massive and
Oh,
terrifying.
Yeah. We would have somebody on watch
so
every fucking
fast.
night. We'd have somebody on watch in every tent to make sure camel spiders didn't come into the tent.
Yeah, and those things can fucking run, dude, or skid,
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But like,
Run, skip, jump. They're so fucking creepy.
they are,
Ah.
dude. And like we would hear like like when I was at this was all at my first base. Like when I got there, my unit was deployed to Bagram in Afghanistan, and they would come back and they were telling stories about like the camel spiders, and it wasn't somebody from our unit, but another fighter unit that was there, but they were all out in like Tent City. Some dude woke up one morning, or woke up to get ready for work, woke up to a fucking camel spider fucking chewing on his foot. Because so camel spiders aren't they aren't venomous per se, like you would think of like a scorpion. They're not like venomous, but I think it's like their saliva, or well, their venom doesn't create or doesn't cause like necrosis. It's like a numbing
Paralysis.
agent, numbing
Yeah.
agent and
Similar
paralysis.
to a mosquito or something like that.
Yeah, kinda.
I'll say this, okay? So, we were told that if we, like in the field, if we ran out of stuff to numb people, if we can find a camel spider,
Mm-hmm.
to grab it and use it in like to numb people.
Yeah.
That was a little order that we as corpsmen would have.
Like
That's
their
crazy.
venom was that potent that they could use it as a numbing agent.
I've heard a lot of crazy things, but I think that takes the cake of the most absurd thing I've heard about the whole war on terror.
We're so bad out of morphine. Yeah, just grab a fucking camel spider.
Like
Just grab that bitch.
we were trained how to extract the venom and use it.
That's
Oh
fucking.
my god.
That is so bonkers, dude.
Like
I've been like,
here I am. I'm fucking 19 years old on my first deployment, and this is what they're telling me. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, at first it like blew my fucking mind, and then I actually seen one of my senior corpsmen do it in a battle situation. I'm like, why didn't you just ask? I had fucking extra vials. It's like he kept one in a box in his bag.
What?
that's crazy.
Let's keep that camel spider on me.
So you're
Hey,
telling
grab
me
your
he had a infinite morphine glitch, basically.
Pretty much. And
Did he feed that shit?
what's that?
Did he feed it?
Yeah.
What did he
Like-
like eat?
What was his name?
Yeah, what was his
Ah,
name?
fuck.
He had to have a name.
The spider's name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Was it Reginald the Monkey Crusher?
Yeah.
No, I
Oh,
can't
my
remember.
homies
I
love
can't
Reggie.
remember. It's been fucking 20 years, dude.
That definitely
Well-
needs to become a new unit, like expletive. Absolute monkey crusher, dude. Like,
Dude, if Reforger gets good mods and we get like dogs or some shit, or a snake,
Oh.
we'll call something Reginald.
Dude, we
Why is it
gotta
called
have. There's something we can be able to do now, right? We gotta get
I
something.
think there's mods out there that add dogs.
They're just
They're-
so
not-
janky.
They're janky.
No, not a dog.
I
it's
remember
just
watching
like-
Psycho. I remember watching Psycho test a dog mod.
Oh yeah, for
That was a
One
couple
Life.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was very janky.
but yeah, I think the spider's name was like fucking Spot or something.
The most generic,
Just
the most
stupid.
generic ass like dog name. Come here, Spot. It's a big
It was
ass
like
spider.
just something. I can't remember what the fuck it was, but like
And
I
it's
said,
funny, like, and it's funny they call them
Almost 20 years
spiders
ago.
because technically they're not spiders because they only have 6 legs.
yeah,
They're just some sort of arthropod.
It's like
fucking
a giant ant.
abominations.
right. Like, I need to know more about this, but I also like not having nightmares, so I don't really want to look more into a camel
Yeah,
spider.
I've been debating looking one up. Like I've
Dude,
known.
I hate that you could like hear them scurry.
Oh, dude.
Like, you can hear like a rat. How you'd hear a rat, you would hear a camel spider.
Well, so Cap,
Yeah.
Cap, obviously, you know,
Hmm.
you've lived out in Arizona for however much of your life, and you go out pretty regularly. You ever
Fun
heard?
fact?
You ever heard
Wanna
of?
hear a fun fact?
Huh?
So you know how we have Yuma, right? Training base in Arizona. Fun fact: the issue with the Marine Corps and any other personnel that comes back from the Middle East have actually, it is an issue. They have been bringing back, whether on purpose or accident, camel spiders
Yeah, they call
to
them.
the United States.
They call them sun spiders out in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
but they're the same exact thing.
Yeah.
No. So much now.
Well,
They're coming up north, Carson.
Arizona.
They're coming to Utah.
Go
Yeah, I
back
won't
to
be
your continent
visiting-
where you belong, you devil spider.
I will not be visiting Arizona anytime soon.
They
or
look
the
different.
West.
Don't let people confuse you. They do look different. The American sun spider is a little bit smaller, but they've started to breed
Yeah, it's
between
awful.
the two. So now you're getting like these really weird looking fucking hybrids.
But like I got to when I got when I got to Arizona, you know, you go through like the safety, you know, the introduction to the base and the safety stuff, like the environment and all that. And they had a picture of a sun spider in there, and I was like, oh god, I don't want to deal with those again. And the guy that was given the like the presentation, he's like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, I was deployed to the Middle East, and that there's a camel spider, man. He's like, well, I don't know what a camel spider is, but this is a sun spider. I was like, yeah, just look up a camel spider for me, and you'll see the resemblance.
So, when I was in, before, like when we'd come back to the States from deployment, we would have people inspect our stuff because camel spiders would lay their eggs or whatever
Mm.
in
Yeah.
our gear, and the shit would hatch back in the States. So people like, so we had people inspecting our ship before we could even get on the planes to come back home to
Yeah,
make sure that
like
we didn't, because like there was an epidemic of camel spiders being hatched in military bases all around the U.S. when I was in.
yeah, we had to do the same thing when I left UAE, because I flew back on a C-17, so they're like, okay, doing this, that, whatever, and we had to go out to the C-17 prior to them even like palletizing and loading all the shit we were taking back. And they're like, all right, we need to walk the cargo bay, make sure there's no camel spiders or eggs, and we were like, huh? What? And they're like, yeah,
Yep.
this is what the eggs look like, and and obviously you know what a camel spider looks like, so we're just gonna walk the bay, make sure there's none hiding out anywhere, and then we're gonna load it, and then we're gonna do it again on the stuff that we load. Like, fuck, dude. Shit.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, and their eggs are like so fucking small.
Mm-hmm. But they lay them in like clusters.
Yeah.
Just gotta give him the good old squishy squish.
Pretty much.
Little bastard.
Fucking camel spiders, bro. Ugh.
Luckily, they actually
I still
don't
have
come
nightmares
too
from
far
them.
north in Arizona because of the mountain range. Well, because of the mountain range, and because there's a shit ton more predators for a camel spider. Like, between tarantulas, snakes, scorpions, and birds, bro. Camel spiders in the U.S. have so many more ops than they do in the Middle East. It's on site. Because we don't even get that many tarantulas like up north. Most of them are down south where it's hotter.
Yeah.
But when we do get them, I mean, they'll fuck up camel spiders. They will absolutely fuck up because they bite it and they like secrete a venom
Mm-hmm.
that'll make them docile after a little bit. But yeah,
I think the one thing that I was, I guess, the most paranoid about coming across during my time in Arizona were the tarantula hawks.
Oh, yeah, no.
Fuck those. Fuck everything about that, dude. No thanks.
yeah, they're pretty brutal. I've seen, I don't know, they're really easy to stay away from just because like in the sun that like the blue coloring,
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy.
It's
to see.
vibrant.
Yeah, super. Like you see that blue, you're like, I ain't dealing with none of
I'm
that.
just gonna turn around.
But
For
yeah,
anyone just tuning in, welcome to the Spider Avoidance Podcast.
fucking real, dude.
yeah, they're pretty big. I mean, for the most part, though. I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of crows too where we live, so I mean, they get eaten pretty fucking.
Oh,
quick. We've been feeding our crows in Arizona, and they actually like. This is people will not believe me, but we feed the crows, and we've fed them for the last like 20 or 30 years, and they'll caw a certain way when they see a coyote,
What?
and like,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And that's how like my dad would be like, oh, there's a coyote, and I'll be like, how you know? And he's like, yeah, it's the crows. They'll do like a low, because the regular crow sounds, it's like,
Yeah,
like a
your
caw,
typical,
like
yeah.
the regular cawing, but then they'll do this really weird like clicking squawk noise. Like I couldn't even recreate it if I wanted to, but that's how, as I grew up, my dad was like, yeah, there's a coyote out there, and we would go and grab our guns and we'd go and try to find it. And funny enough, if the crows, they see us out with the guns, they know we're looking for the coyote, and they will fly over where it is.
What?
they'll-
That's
they will-
y'all basically
will fly
domesticated
over where it
crows.
was. Yeah,
White.
and it was.
Enemy attack crows above.
Why
actually-
is that
Yes,
2 or
that's-
1?
That's 2.
Yeah. Thanks for that, White. I'm gonna have nightmares now. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I
hate that so
I don't give a
much.
fuck if the enemy knows where I am or I negatively discharge. The thing's getting shot. How am I supposed to fucking kill that?
Just so you
Don't
know,
let
I-
it get into your shadow, because it'll chase you.
Yeah, so
They
Dove's
run 9
cat-
miles per hour.
just so you guys know, I sent Ace and Karsten a picture of 2 camel spiders.
Ugh.
Yeah, the only proper solution to that one is 12 gauge, my friends.
Yeah, for real, dude. I don't. Dude, you don't just have a guy on base like with a shotgun just designated to walk around and kill those things.
We
I feel like
had
that would have been someone's job.
we had somebody every night on watch for camel spiders. And
Yeah,
every
did they shoot it? Or...
every tent, yeah.
Did you catch release or did you shoot them?
Some people shot them, some people caught and released. It just
And
depended.
some guy out there with a sword, so you
Like-
don't make too much sound.
Like I said, it got to one point where every tent had a fucking pet camel spider that we would fight them with.
Having fucking.
Grab that.
We got the
Oh,
camel
my
spider
spider
from.
will
We got the
screw
camel
up your
spider
camel
from tent A fighting the camel spider from tent C, making brackets and shit.
We did.
Oh, no.
We did.
Oh man.
You gotta start betting pennies. 50 pennies on that.
We would bet. No, see, no. Hey, White, you ready for this? We would bet Pogs.
Yep.
We would bet
Hell,
Pog. It's the so, like coin and paper currency was really hard to get over in like the on base like PXs and BXs. So they made literal like the heavier like cardboard cutouts, and they just printed on there what their value was, and that was your change. That was your physical change in dollars.
Yep. So, they got the idea from when I was young.
The
Like, I was
actual toy.
Yeah, the actual toy. And like when I was a kid, we had Pogs that were like little pieces of cardboard with like fancy designs and shit on them. And what you would do is you'd take them, stack them up, and you would have a bigger Pog, which was made out of plastic or something.
Oh, they're
that was
phasing them
thicker.
out. White, they're phasing them out.
Dubs, it's of course they would have. They would have.
No.
Because now everything's fucking. You can just use your card.
Right,
for
you've got a
everything now.
credit card. Wow.
But, and you would, the bigger Pog was called a slammer. You take it and you fucking throw the slammer down on top of the Pogs, and all the ones that you'd flip over. It was like when I was a kid, it was our version of Jacks.
Yeah.
So whichever ones you would flip over is the ones that you would keep. So they got the idea for the currency from that.
Oh my god. They just put like cents on that bitch?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shot. The 10 cents is the Dale Earnhardt special. Oh yeah.
You're telling me that was the currency they fucking paid you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Bro.
you couldn't get coins or paper very often.
Yeah.
What?
So that was your suitable substitute over there. I think
They also-
I think they went up
Money's
as
not
high
real.
as like I think they went up as high as like $1 or $5.
I think $5 was the highest.
Yeah.
But that they also did that because if you had coins and stuff in your pockets and you passed away, they didn't want the enemy forces to get our currency.
Yeah.
So they would use those as give us that as well. So if somebody tried to cash it in, they
It's just a
knew.
piece of cardboard.
Yeah,
Also, they probably don't want you jangling around like a
yeah.
slot
Could you
machine.
cash them in still? If you had one.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah. But
Ah, yes.
dude,
1 second. Let me travel to the nearest PX so I can cash in my 10-cent or my 10-cent pog from 30 years ago.
the
With inflation, you'll
Me.
probably get a whole $1.
being over in the Middle East is a fucking
It's a whole new world.
dude. It is.
It's a whole nother world.
It's wild.
I'm not the only one that
It's an
imagined the
experience.
Aladdin thing, right?
So when I was over there, I had a PS2 when I was over there, and I bought that thing for $100 and took it over there with me. When I left the first time, I sold that bitch for $400.
Yeah.
Like stereo systems and shit that you could buy over there, I would buy it for $100-$200 and turn around, and somebody that was coming straight from boot or from school, I'd turn them out for $400 or $500
Hell yeah.
just because like I'm leaving. I don't need the shit. But these guys who don't know any fucking better, who have all this fucking money, oh yeah, I'll take that, I'll buy it. Okay, whatever. Here you go. Have fun. I'm out.
And then you got, and then you had guys who would have the quote unquote hard drive.
Yep.
Oh,
You're old.
Those were the days, Dubs.
the hard drive. Before the times of VPNs. Oh man.
Yeah, Anderson in chat said, "Gotta talk about those scorpions," and he also said, "Crows and ravens are incredibly smart."
Yeah.
I mean, I would say so. We've gotten to the point where we feed them at the same time we feed all the animals. It's like the cows, the sheep, the horses. So the crows will come down and they'll perch up on the roof of the shed, and we'll just throw out like corn feed or bread, whatever leftovers we had, and those motherfuckers, boom, they'll sweep it up. There's like 20 of them. But yeah, they're not a pain.
Do
They're
the
really
crows
chill.
have names?
No, I never bothered to name any of them. I would,
Raccoons
Yeah.
are smart.
I would talk to them as a kid. I'd just be like, "Sup?" Like I'd just say like random shit to them, or I'd tell them about some bullshit, and they'd just be there chilling. It's whatever.
Raccoons are pretty smart too.
I'm just trying to visualize just a little Yoshi talking to crows.
Can't get more indigenous than that. It's the native
know-
child talking to fucking birds.
So like Anderson brings up the scorpions, right? No shit. In my 4 years that I was in Arizona, not once, not a single time did I see a scorpion in the wild.
They're really hard to see.
Like we would,
They
like,
are.
we
Some of
would
those craps are like see-through.
But like we would take out, like, especially on base, we would take out. I had like a UV flashlight that I would go out into the yard, the front yard and the backyard and like around. Nothing. It was weird. They hyped up all the scorpions. I was like, man, I didn't see shit.
For you in Phoenix?
Glendale. So yeah.
Oh, dude, you're never gonna see a scorpion.
Well, but like we
there.
would go, but we would even go out like out to the mountains and whatnot. You know, out into the wilderness, and never really came across one. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, how
pretty sure we
how
have.
far are you going out? Did you go out west?
Let me
Like
pull,
west of Phoenix?
Let me pull up a map. Of,
If you go west or northwest, you'll see them, but you got to go like a good 10, 20 miles out to see them. If you're actually looking for
Scorpion
them.
populations have significantly declined in like the last 10 years.
No, it's because
like-
of human infrastructure.
Right.
Like, so, like,
like we
people
let's
don't realize
see.
how much, like, humans affect, like, the natural order of life and, like, population densities for other specific species.
Let's see. Out west, west of Luke Air Force Base, we went out to the White Tank Mountains a lot. Estrella Mountain, we went to just south of Goodyear. Where else
Oh
did
my
we kind of go out to?
dubs.
Lake Pleasant sometimes. Huh? What?
I found the ultimate revenge.
The ultimate revenge?
You can overnight ship camel spiders.
That's disgusting.
No.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yes, how
Holy
much?
shit, that
How
sounds
much?
awful. $20?
No, not that cheap.
I was gonna say,
60.
there's no way that's cheap.
60 to 100.
Jesus.
Cyber, if you're out there watching this,
You're not getting a bomb
updates-
anymore.
yeah, updates. I've got
camel
something far
spiders.
worse in store for you, sir.
Camel spiders in Hawaii go berserk. What?
I'm
That came from.
gonna,
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
I,
stop you right there.
I
It's
just
pretty good.
did that. Like I said, ultimate revenge.
Dude, that would be awful. Oh my god.
I would like to claim my medal now for longest tangent. Thank you.
Dude, we've been
No.
talking for an hour and over an hour about insects in the
Well,
Middle East and
So
Arizona.
what was it? We went from how is life as PSG to war
Special
and
Forces.
its effects,
Oh, yeah.
special forces, and then White slowly hinting at his badass background story that he doesn't talk about. And then it went from that to my grandpa and you know,
in Vietnam. His like
Vietnam
17
with his-
tours.
with his pet anaconda.
Yeah.
And
the
then
anaconda led to birds and scorpions and spiders, camel spiders. And now we're talking about shipping shit to people through domestic terrorist actions.
Yeah.
Seems like a typical 13th night to me.
Yeah.
All normal here, folks. No issues.
I love how quickly we skipped over the fact that, as the kids would say, White is in fact him.
Him. Now bend over.
What? Hey, that's it. Come here.
the main reason why I don't talk about my background very often is because it's like
It's
I've seen a lot of shit.
dramatic.
Well,
it's
I'm not
traumatic.
giving you, homie. I'm not
And-
giving you shit for it.
Oh,
I just
I know.
realized it as I was like summarizing. Like, oh, we just got like a random lore drop in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, it's. I was always I when I grew up, it was you don't talk about yourself.
Yeah.
It's so it's
You're a weirdo if you do.
yeah. Like now, if it comes up in a conversation or something, then yeah, it's not a big deal. But I don't
Initiate.
I don't publicize. Yeah, I don't publicize my past because one, it's traumatic, and two, I did some fucked up shit.
Stay humble. Stay humble and keep the dark shit to yourself unless somebody brings it out.
Put it this way, like you guys know how people would vote, like most successful and stuff in high school. Well,
The superlatives.
yeah, one of our unofficial things was most likely not to live to see the age of 25,
Bless.
and I won that shit by a
Yikes.
landslide.
That's crazy.
Because I was known to jump from the bed of one truck to the other truck while going 80 down the freeway.
That's your,
So
it's your head corpsman, everyone.
you're a liberal.
I did a lot of fucked up shit when I was young. I was crazy. I had a death wish back then, and here I am,
Now-
38 years old,
You're
and my
old.
20 year high school reunions later this month.
Oh god.
Yeah.
You
Fuck.
going?
Yes, I am going.
Oh man.
Wear all your medals. Be like, what's up, bitch?
No, I ain't going that far.
I'm not that guy.
All that shit's probably in like a garment bag or something.
Does the uniform fit?
Fuck.
Actually,
Fuck. no.
actually, it does.
Oh.
My-
It is a little tight, but it still does fit. Because I I wore it last year for a wedding.
Oh hell yeah!
I think my blues still fit, but I don't think my ABUs fit anymore.
My Just Blues fit. My Just Whites do not. Because I had my Just Blues modified a little bit when I was still in. Like, so okay, so the Just Blues have 13 buttons on the crotch, okay? And this that symbolizes the 13 original colonies. Well, we call them the 13 chances to say no.
God damn it, dude!
I actually took mine and sewed them to the front flap and then put Velcro around so that way I could just rip it off. And that's the only reason why they still fit.
One step ahead, baby.
Fucking tearaway.
Yep.
Oh,
My God.
jeez.
Ingenuity, everybody.
Like when you had to take
Dude,
The main
so
reason
you
I
gotta
did-
you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
the main reason why I did that was because when you had to take a piss, you had to unfucking button every single one of those things. And it was such a fucking pain.
Why do you unbutton every single one? Can't you just unbutton the like 4 main buttons to slip it through?
No. It was like you had to at least do half of them. And it was like trying to get them fucking undone. It fucking sucked.
I'm gonna need to remember that. Velcro saves lives.
Yeah.
And pants. All right, Dubs.
Yeah.
What topic question do you have?
Well, going from remaining in the realm of psychological horror and warfare between all the insects and other shit we've been talking about. How much emphasis do you place on psychological realism in your scenarios, such as fear, fatigue, or morale?
So what?
Like in opt. Like how do you introduce the element of, I guess, like psychological things with whether it be fear, fatigue, or morale?
I think it for me personally as a Zeus, my personal favorite thing to do is I like the quiet. I like making things calm. However that affects the individual players is kind of up to them, whether they're like bored or they're
Or like on
wondering
edge.
why nothing's happening, or you know, it's the tension before the initial hit.
The calm before the
And-
storm.
Yeah, that's personally one of my favorite play-ins into everything. And sometimes I don't even play into it fully. Like I'll tease it, like I'll tease the tip a little, fire a random 50 cal at somebody. You know, maybe do like a sniper out there and fuck with people. And then another 10 minutes of like nothingness if they kill the sniper, followed by a just overwhelming massive assault. It's probably one of my favorite play styles to like get players into the heat of it type deal.
One thing
Oh, that's how the buttons look?
One thing
Yeah.
I can think of that I've used in the past, and I know you and Cyber have used, is the air raid alarm and the general quarters alarm.
Yeah, those are the audio sounds are pretty great in the game to also use. Yeah, that is disgusting. Whoever came up with that uniform design is a piece of shit.
Ace, Karsten, I put the picture in command board room chat.
I'm glad I
chat.
can see that.
No, it's in this channel's text chat.
He can't see that. What the
Oh,
fuck?
okay.
It's like stupid
That's
as hell.
stupid.
What in the
What the hell?
What in the 1976 type of fucking clothesline design is that? I mean, 1776.
Yeah, same era for white. But
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, you were there when they signed the Constitution, right, Wyatt?
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
fuck y'all.
I don't think that's white. That might be Jal Brewer tasty.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I sent you the picture in DM, Kirsten.
Speaking of tasty, real quick, talk about I think he is the first person to have made it to corporal without taking an NCO board.
That's
Didn't we
right.
say that last week?
Wasn't it Banana?
No,
No, he
Banana
only
never
made
made
Lance.
corporal. He made Lance.
Oh, that's
corporal.
right.
Banana
That's
was
right.
meritorious to Lance.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
he
wait, no,
did,
you were only threatening him last week, weren't you?
Yeah. And then he actually did it.
No. Banana,
Yeah.
he did his NCOC board.
Yeah, he did NCOC and then found out he didn't want it to be an NCO, so he just stayed Lance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He was Lance before I joined the unit, so.
But yeah, he was the definition of terminal Lance. Like that dude, he's like, nope. I'm in the Navy. I ain't doing any more than that. Like,
And you know what? Fair. Here's honorary XO.
yep, suck it, nerd.
Very good.
Honestly, Banana was great, fantastic, very smelly.
What?
Always put bananas in my bag. That little
Dude,
shit.
that
was my
that-
favorite part.
that motherfucker, man.
My
That was
favorite
my-
was the
that-
time you
my
put
first-
87 bananas in an LAV.
That was my first interaction with Banana, was him giving me a banana on my first op.
You got banana.
You got bananaed.
I was like, what the
So
fuck is
dumb.
this? And then
Banana.
every op I was in with him, I was like, you bring your bananas? He's like, oh, you know I did. Every fucking op.
Get bananaed, nerd.
Dude. Fucking bananas. I will say on the topic of tasty, like, dude, what a guy.
He definitely earned that promotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I'd been thinking about it for a while, and I was just like, man, I don't see, like, we could always put him through a board. I'm sure it'd be fine, but like, I just don't see a reason to not make him a corporal. Like, he does a shit ton of admin, like, between everything else going on in his life, with like wife, kids, you know, work and all that shit, and he's a really good like team leader.
Poor chap was so sad last Saturday when I made him team lead instead of using his marksman rifle.
Oh, and don't forget when he like became squad leader for a little bit.
Oh yeah, peak
More
moment.
than once.
And he was just like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but we did all right. Like, yeah, you did good. Yeah, you got it. But he's chill. Hopefully, as he ripens with age, you know, he'll get more free time and we'll get to utilize his old man skills more. But yeah, big shout out to Tasty,
Well,
your
Corporal Tasty.
Corporal Tasty Bean Boy.
Let's see here. Actually, this one.
I think we got time for one more question.
I mean, depending on how much of a tangent we go on, I could probably stick in a couple. I know White's got a drop dead time. Karsten's flying on a plane in the morning, so he's probably gotta want to finish packing and get to bed soon.
We could
Luckily, I got
probably
back,
end it.
so I'm just getting off and then passing out.
Yeah, we'll end it at 2200 tonight. We won't go past
Yeah.
the usual time.
Let's see. This one will generate probably some conversation because I think this one's generated towards like a leader's mindset, and all of us here are leaders in some form or fashion. How do you assess and mitigate risk during high stakes missions? I'm gonna start with Karsten on this one. We'll bottom up.
Well, back in my mechie days, we mitigated risk by camping out 2 kilometers away and using our LAVs like sniper rifles. But
Now you're in the shit.
Once again, back to the smoke grenades. I think really at my level, it really boils down to the tactical level, where you're taking a look at danger zones. Your good old, I get my buzzwords. Your linear danger areas, aka roads and stuff like that, and making sure you're planning your movements to avoid terrain. It's going to negatively affect your operation.
Cool. White.
What was the question?
How do you assess and mitigate risks during high stakes missions?
So I always train the corpsmen to take their patient to cover, if possible, and if it's not possible, to yell at infantry to provide security and to get trenches up. It's like for corpsmen, it's kind of hard because we got to do our job before somebody dies. But it's just trenches and security, and if you can, get them into a building to have cover.
Ace.
I think to ensure success, I think probably have like someone you trust, or like let's say it's a team lead scenario or whatever, right? Like a team needs to go do this one objective. That's gonna be really difficult. I think the most experienced and most trusted team leader, I think, would be one of the things. Like know who in your thing is like, you know, very competent in their field, very good at what they do, stuff like that. Have the best guys out there doing that risky thing.
Kind of send out the experience ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to get like the unexperienced people, but I mean, an example like last week, Karsten, we were planning on it. So Tasty was the most experienced fire team leader last week, and basically sent his team to kind of give cover for the whole platoon, and they experienced pretty heavy casualties when they did that. But I made sure to give him like Galbrew, some of the other more experienced people as well. So it's kind of like I don't know if it would have gone. They lost guys when they did it, but it may have gone worse if I sent some more unexperienced people out there to do it. You know?
Yeah, the chance would be there,
Yeah.
or be more likely.
Yeah.
For me, assessing and mitigating risk, it really boils down to there's a lot of factors that kind of come into play. So one factor that comes into play is where we are in the campaign, as in how how deep are we? Like, are we in the absolute beginning, halfway through, towards the end? Because at least to me, that could be a good indicator as to not only the likelihood of red air, but also how much red air is likely to come out. So like last week, when we encountered red air, it was at minimum three or four birds each, and there were three separate occasions where we had to deal with red air. So during op last week, in total, there was 16 16 enemy air that at the end of the night made their appearance. So that those two things are a pretty good indicator to me of what when I'm doing my loadouts on my jets. That's what I use to gauge like what kind of mix I should be taking, whether it be, you know, heavier on the air to air, or, you know, if we're towards the, you know, kind of getting towards the end, like in Takistan, when we were pretty much winding down, I pretty much had like the minimum amount of missiles that you really needed depending on the airframe. So like if I was flying the F-18, I had missiles on the wingtips and that was it. And I had missiles on the wingtips and then one on the belly opposite the targeting pod. Everything else was air to ground stuff, because I knew in the back of my mind, like, you know what, they keep, you know, they're saying like, oh, we've essentially wiped out their air forces. You know, you might encounter a helicopter or two, maybe one straggler plane that you know, kind of escaped one day. But you know, that stuff like that's usually a pretty good indicator to me on what my mix should be, whether it be heavier on the anti-air or heavier on the ground attack stuff. When I'm looking at what to take for air to ground stuff, whether it be smaller munitions like the 250-pound bombs, or, you know, just like the Maverick missiles, or rockets, or, you know, stuff as big as like the 2,000-pound bombs that I can pick up. A lot of that is dependent on just what the mission set is for infantry. Like if there's stuff in there that like, hey, we probably shouldn't destroy this, I'm gonna take a lot of the lighter munitions that I know don't have as much of an effective range as like the 2,000-pound bombs do. Because at least the way Arma is programmed with how the munitions work, a 2,000-pound bomb has a very, very wide area of effect other than just the impact point. Like 500 yards away in Arma, 500 yards away, it can damage. A 2,000-pound bomb can damage or destroy vehicles. At the very least, disable them inadvertently. So that's kind of a lot of the stuff that I look at on the 2MA side of things. Yosh?
What is the question?
How do you assess and mitigate risk during high-stakes missions?
How do you assess and mitigate risk? A lot of different variables come into play, but I think the immediate thought of being able to mitigate risk and success is ensuring everyone that you are leading directly understands the plan thoroughly and understands any potential contingencies that might need to go into effect. And along with that, also needs to understand communication. And I think with those three things and variables in the position of a PL or PSG, they're probably some of the most important things to considerably work on or assess appropriately in the field of combat, at least in terms of infantry perspective. Because even if the plan isn't going according to its normal route, team leaders or myself can fall back on potential contingencies or SOPs, operational values, shit to rely on to help, mitigate issues of losses or over reliance on a set scenario and being able to adapt accordingly. Now this applies very much specifically to the PL and squad leaders. Not really so much for team leaders. I don't think team leaders should be really like thinking outside of the box of their squad lead, because that normally gets squads killed. Thinking outside the box is reserved for those higher echelon positions of squad leadership and up, just because there's so many other variables that they need to take into account, and there's more people for them to coordinate and worry themselves with. But yeah, if it fell back onto being able to mitigate situations and assess them appropriately, it's the element leads knowing the plan, knowing the contingencies of the plan, and knowing how and being able to communicate to the absolute highest tier of effectiveness.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Wheel of crayons.
Yeah. Karsten, final thoughts on your time on the podcast.
I had a good time. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome for the
Once
nightmares.
again, I want my award for longest tangent. Please and thank you.
All right, we'll get the ribbon done up.
No.
Very good.
And you are so welcome for the nightmares for tonight.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely help with my 4 hours of sleep. Be
Real.
glorious.
I mean, if you
You'll
want
be on
to,
an airplane.
honestly, if you want to just pass it along to your brother and terrorize him.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
like this
idea. Yeah, I like it too.
If you want, Carson, I'll give you the link for the shipping.
I was like, if you tell Lambert about the shipping thing, I'm gonna. I don't know what I'll do. I will sacrifice you to the old one.
Oh.
The great old one. Okay, let's do predictions. Karsten, let's get your prediction on the next guest.
I'm saying Yogi just because I think it'd be funny.
Alright,
put
alright, alright. Wait, let's get a prediction out of you.
You know what? Let's go with. We'll go with Nap.
Nap, okay. Ace.
Anderson.
Anderson. I'm gonna go with. I am gonna say spicy.
That's
I'm gonna say Cunningham.
Cunningham? Alright. Are we ready to spin the wheel?
Hey, you know what? Nobody chose River.
Watch, now he gets picked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a little liberal.
Alright, let's spin it, shall we?
Spin the wild beats. Oh shit.
Oh, Marcuzzi.
Koozie.
Wow.
Basically Cunningham.
Alright, let's put it in the Discord.
Call him out.
We gotta
Call
call
him
him out.
Calling eggheads.
You're demoted. Corporal Anderson, surprise guest on the podcast in the last 5 minutes. What?
What? Whoa, Anderson.
We gotta do an alternate.
Panic
Muted.
and unmutes and
Panic.
unmutes rapidly.
Panic muted that mic so fast. Like,
We gotta spin again.
Yep.
yep.
Need the backup.
Alright. And let's do the backup, shall we?
Oh,
Let's see who we get.
Anderson!
I guess right.
That's amazing. Holy shit.
Look at that.
Now teach you to mute up in the chat when we pull you up.
Oh shit. There it is.
You're the backup.
Get wrecked.
Anderson.
I'm the backup? What the fuck?
Yep. You're not good enough to be the primary,
No,
but
never.
you're good enough to be the backup.
Apparently.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus. Right. Funny.
What a donkey doink.
And Anderson, you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Damn.
Damn.
Oh shit! Couldn't resist.
All right. Final thoughts and comments from our command staff.
More member needed now.
Keep recruiting for beans on toast.
Gib money. And White, what do you always say?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, there it is.
And
Alright.
also, camel spiders, things of nightmares.
Yes, they are.
If you
Big
wanna,
stinky.
if you have a worst enemy, you can send them in the mail.
Yep.
Yeah, mail it to White's desk.
Nope.
Ew.
Yep. Norman
Nope.
desk.
Do not send them to my desk.
They're all
All
just
right.
under EST.
I will return to sender.
I am denying delivery.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Thanks for coming out to this week's episode of the Briefing Room, and we will see you out there. Go sign up. Sign-ups are up. Go do it.
Rock, Chili.